So kicking off our discussion today is someone who's no stranger to many of you. We're really honored to have Senator John Boozman here with us today. He hails from the great state of Arkansas. He was first elected to the Senate in 2010 and was sworn in for his second term in 2017. Prior to serving in the Senate, Mr. Boozman represented the people of the 3rd District of Arkansas. And we're really, really happy to have him here with us today as the ranking member of the U.S. Senate Committee on Ag, Nutrition, and Forestry. Welcome, Senator Boozman.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and again, for all of the hard work in putting this really important symposium together. So good afternoon. And again, thank you for inviting me to join today's event. The theme of this event, Sustainable Solutions for Zero Hunger, recognizes what I consider to be a critical component of the discussions on agriculture and climate change, that agricultural sustainability must be promoted while simultaneously ensuring food security. There are a variety of emerging and novel roles for agriculture to play in addressing climate change, which are generating a lot of buzz in Washington and interest from the agricultural community. While these new opportunities hold promise, our efforts to foster positive change in our food system to mitigate the impacts of climate change must also ensure, and this is very important, that we maintain yields and profitability for farmers and affordability for consumers. I recently visited farms in Arkansas where producers are serving as pioneers, navigating these new opportunities to determine the long-term viability of incorporating climate-oriented practices into their operations. While these producers are ever optimistic and hopeful that their efforts will pay off, profitability is a necessary and vital consideration. Any approach that requires farmers and ranchers to take additional costs and risk with zero reward simply will not succeed. We cannot expect farmers to offset lost production with unpredictable income streams from emerging and evolving greenhouse gas markets. And I question the ability of the government to pay for lost production due to aggressive conservation efforts. Discovery of new technologies and support of public policy that continues to promote them is going to be the key to meeting the climate and hunger challenges of the future. Unfortunately for agriculture, animal agriculture in particular, science and technology is often viewed skeptically. Washington is comfortable talking about increasing our conservation efforts and getting more farmers involved in offset markets, but ensuring our policies, both domestically and internationally, stay rooted in science, safety, and proper consideration for risk and benefits will be critical in securing a future that prioritizes both sustainability and food security. International bodies such as Codex and the UN Food Systems Summit are coming under increasing pressure from countries urging the precautionary principle and an idyllic view of agriculture. Within our own government, we are seeing resistance to modernizing regulatory approvals for important tools like animal biotechnology. Forcing radical reforms on U.S. agriculture under the guise of responding to climate change is concerning to me. Animal husbandry practices have evolved to maximize growth of the animal and to reduce the use of the resources required to produce that animal protein, including water, feed, and land. Reverting our animal production practices to the pastoral scenes of my parents' time, an approach advocated by the European Commission, not only harms the environment, but it also contributes to hunger and increased food costs. Just this week, the House Democrats selected their winners and losers when it comes to climate policy as the agricultural portion of the partisan reconciliation bill advanced through the House. Importantly, it advanced through the House with $28 billion. Or to put that in perspective, 30% of the total spending for the agriculture and conservation components is yet to be made public. This legislation was debated without stakeholder input. More than $66 billion was directed towards research and infrastructure initiatives focusing on urban agriculture, civilian climate corps, organic, specialty crops, tree equity, whatever that is, and so on. In what we've seen so far, not a single dollar in that $94 billion package was devoted to animal agriculture. The segment of American agriculture responsible for over half of our country's farm receipts was left out in the cold entirely. This signals to me that the administration is not interested in assisting animal agriculture in being more sustainable. The White House has its own agenda. The president and his allies have little regard for the impact of their decisions on the agriculture community as a whole. The fact that they have refused to consider your voices in the discussion, but should be very alarming as a decision on where to spend this money, or in this case, where not to, will have long-term ramifications on the industry's future. If the U.S. intends to continue the evolution of our food system in order to combat climate change head on, then we must be sure our policies don't obstruct or distort the increasingly difficult task of food production for global population. If we want to successfully encourage climate change mitigation, farmers and ranchers must have all the tools they will need to utilize in this endeavor. In this forum today, where you're exploring the concepts of both sustainability and hunger, rather than speaking about each in isolation, the holistic and wise approach that I feel is necessary to ensure we are achieving meaningful process, we have to speak to them together. I thank you for your time and your prioritization of these important issues. And it's really a pleasure to be with you. And thank you for all that you're doing. Again, this is a matter of us all working together, and we can be so very blessed. The Lord has blessed us so much with the resources that we have. And people ask me about, what am I enthusiastic about? I'm enthusiastic after spending, 10 days, 2 weeks with our farm families in Arkansas on our ag tour. Folks that have so much ingenuity and just, are going to get the job done. They always have. So we just need them to give them the resources and the ability to do that, and we will continue being the great food production nation that we are. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Senator Boozman. I know that you have a very busy schedule, and I appreciate you taking the time out of that to join us here today.
Well, thank you, and I do appreciate you making a little bit of an arrangement for me. We are in the process of the appropriations package, and it's pretty wild right now, as you can imagine, in Washington. In fact, you all know better than anyone. So we're working through that, and so that's really kind of the priority right now. So again, thank you, and thank you for all that you guys represent.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have Senator Boozman, and we'll let you go back to figuring out all the great things that are going to be in the appropriations package. So appreciate it so much. So now it's my, yes, thank you.